All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you. And the first thing I want to talk about is XRP price surges 55% to a 3-year high amid push for financial inclusivity. So apparently, the SEC lawsuit is kind of starting to fade away. It's not quite over or anything, but people have just kind of forgot about it, apparently. And it's not quite affecting their partnerships. Well, it did a little bit, but now they're just getting even more of them. So basically, XRP is at what you could quite frankly call an all-time high if you delete 2017, which we can all agree that was kind of a fluke, as those prices were that high for about 2 weeks. So either way, so XRP looking pretty good recently. And also, I was saying in previous videos that if the SEC lawsuit blows over and the XRP is not found to be a security, then XRP could easily go to $1 or higher. It was just a conservative $1 prediction, and we're already on that way without any SEC lawsuit actually physically going away yet. So the price of XRP saw a 55% breakout over the past 2 days as the 6th-ranked cryptocurrency by market cap has renewed its focus on the creation of cross-border payment network that is inclusive and sustainable. Data from Cointelegraph Markets and TradingView shows that XRP dropped to a low of 56 cents in the early hours of April 4th before a wave of trading volume helped lift its price to a high of 87 cents over the last few hours, which again is like the highest it's been in quite a long time, again, since like 2017. Which, once again, was basically like a 2-week period that it was a few dollars and then just sort of dumped. It might have been a little bit longer than that, but hey, it's history anyway. The uptick in trading volume was sparked after Ripple posted a blog titled Creating a More Financially Inclusive and Sustainable Future, that discussed how the project has partnered with mission-driven financial technology companies, leading universities, NGOs, foundations, and social entrepreneurs to create greater economic fairness and opportunity for all. A second wave of buying took place on April 5th, after Ripple posted the following announcement detailing its most recent acquisition designed to enhance its cross-border payment capabilities. It says, "We've announced our acquisition of a 40% stake in cross-border payment specialist Tranglo. Details on our recent announcement is here." Combined with these recent announcements have led to a 257% increase in XRP trading volume over the past 2 days, from an average of 24-hour volume of 5 billion to 18.4 billion. So huge trading volume on XRP, yet it's still unlisted or completely suspended. Either completely unlisted or suspended on something like close to 30 exchanges. So again, when the SEC lawsuit blows over, a lot of these partners might be looking back towards Ripple. Maybe Grayscale would want to add it back as a fund, or many other maybe ETFs, and all the exchanges will relist XRP and the floodgates will reopen once again. So if you think this is a lot of trade volume, wait until all of those exchanges relist XRP. But moving on to some different news, MicroStrategy buys another 253 BTC, now hodls 0.5% of the Bitcoin's circulating supply. MicroStrategy took advantage of yet another consolidation. The publicly traded business intelligence company announced on Monday that they purchased an additional $15 million in cash of Bitcoin at a price of $59,339 per BTC. So basically trading at the close to the all-time high. So they're definitely not waiting for the dip on that one. A little bit of greedy hands on that one, but we love you, MicroStrategy, for buying at the high, because somebody's gotta. As of writing, BTC is trading just under 58K. So MicroStrategy now holds 91,579 Bitcoin, with its latest purchase price representing nearly 0.5% of Bitcoin's total circulating supply. It says, no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. So basically, MicroStrategy buying another $15 million. It seems like they've lately been buying like in $15 million increments. They did buy quite a bit in the past in larger billion-dollar increments. But it seems like the past 2 or 3 buys was like $15 million, if I'm not mistaken. So it seems like they got something going on there. But moving on to some different news, Kevin O'Leary says he will only buy Bitcoin mined with clean energy and none mined in China. Well, that's going to be kind of hard, first of all, because if you just buy in an exchange or you buy even over the counter and it has a transaction history attached to it, it's kind of difficult to track that transaction history entirely because it could have been around for many, many years and traded hundreds or possibly thousands of times and split up. It's going to be really difficult for you, Kevin O'Leary, I promise you, unless you're buying absolutely newly minted Bitcoin. Celebrity investor Kevin O'Leary says he will only buy Bitcoin mined sustainably in countries that use clean energy. And again, Bitcoin that is mined fresh does sometimes sell at a premium. Same thing with Ethereum, because it has absolutely no transaction history tied to it. And sometimes people want that just in case something goes wrong, or something was wrong with it previous. Celebrity investor Kevin O'Leary says he's only going to be buying mined Bitcoin sustainably in countries that use clean energy and not blood coin mined in China. He says, I see over the next year or two kinds of coin, he told CNBC's Capital Connection. Blood coin from China. Wow. Pretty bold statement. Clean coin mined sustainably in countries that use hydroelectricity, not coal. So basically, there's blood coin from China, apparently. This is a thing now, apparently, according to Kevin O'Leary. And then there's basically other Bitcoin that uses hydroelectricity and not coal. So coal, Bitcoin, bad Bitcoin. Hydroelectricity coin, good Bitcoin. But let me just tell you, Kevin O'Leary, maybe I'm going to blow your mind with this one, a little bit of geography. China has a lot of hydroelectricity, a lot of it. They got a lot of coal, too. Basically, almost every country has coal power plants. But you'd be surprised, Kevin O'Leary, how much hydroelectricity China actually has. So I don't know what you're talking about here. So this is a little confusing. But there is indeed a premium on newly minted Ethereum and newly minted Bitcoin because there is no previous transaction history, and the institutions and banks and millionaires and billionaires like Kevin O'Leary enjoy that sort of thing because nobody else has owned it before, and not those terrible money launderers that may have held it in the past. But moving on to some different news. NFT price crash stirs debate on whether stimulus-led fad is over. So before I even read the article, I just want to say that the NFTs, as I made a video yesterday on NFTs, and the idea is that NFTs can be a lot of things. They can be just represented of a thing that you can own, and then there's also NFT art, and my video yesterday was basically entirely on NFT art. So there's two different spectrums, in my opinion. One is like the Banksy and the very, very expensive artists that basically anything they create is going to be worth millions of dollars and everyone's going to be clamoring over. And then there's the JPEG art, or the people that just slap some art onto some paper and then print it out and turn it into a blockchain, or they do it digitally and put it on the blockchain, however they want to do it. And so there's definitely two spectrums. One, I think NFT is going to work really well for like the major artists and once in a while for lucky people as well. But for the other side, there's JPEG, like basically Bad Luck Brian memes and the overly attached girlfriend memes and various other memes. Basically, the non-cat meme sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and the overly attached girlfriend sold for like $411,000. Whoever is buying these is going to get super wrecked, because basically you can just Google that. There is no work involved in that, in just Googling a meme and then putting it on a site and then hoping it sells for a lot of money. It's going to be very, very few people that are going to make a lot of money doing that. And then if you do buy it, it's going to be very, very difficult to resell it. So I think there's going to be definitely a crash in the NFT price of various art, because most of it is just straight up a JPEG ripped from the internet. Prices for digital collectibles like art and sports memorabilia are sliding, turning the focus back on whether the nascent market for so-called non-fungible tokens is any more than a fleeting mania. And we do have plenty of fleeting manias in the world of crypto. In 2017, it was sort of like a proof of work coin after proof of work coin after proof of work coin, and you would just mine one for a month, sell it, mine another one, and it would just pop up like that ad infinitum through the entire year. And basically into 2018 is basically where they sort of stopped. And then proof of work coins just sort of kind of disappeared. And not to say that, Bitcoin and Ethereum is a proof of work coin, but I mean like new ones that were popping up that were very profitable to mine. We also had yield farming, or guys remember that yesterday? That lasted about 3 months. It was basically putting cryptocurrency onto DeFi platforms, getting the yield for it, and then basically taking out a loan and putting it on a different platform and finding a platform that has a lower loan, and they take a loan out on that. You put it on a different one. And sure, you can still do that, but you guys remember that was like a mania for a while, and cryptocurrency has done this over and over and over. Whenever a new type of technology that enters the crypto field, it sort of explodes. It's very profitable, very lucrative, and then sort of dies out as everybody starts to realize that they can exploit it and nobody has the money to go around. It's sort of, again, a work problem, a honest work problem. If you can just take any JPEG off of the internet and put it onto a website and get $36,000 for it, why wouldn't the whole planet do that? Well, if the whole planet was doing that, then it would just collapse because it's not honest labor. Average prices for NFTs, essentially tradable digital currencies that use blockchain technology to prove ownership and provenance of online assets, have tumbled 70% from a peak in February to about $1,400, according to nonfungible.com, which tracks a variety of NFT marketplaces. A burst of interest in NFT hit a peak last month when a digital artwork Beeple sold for a staggering $69.3 million. For some, that sum showed NFTs were in the grip of investor excess in a world full of stimulus and destined to fizzle. Others who study the technology argue the use of blockchain to create scarcity for digital collectibles is a lasting innovation rather than a price fad. And I agree and I disagree with that. Again, one of the things that's a fad right now is just throwing on memes onto platforms and then hoping they sell for outrageous sums, which whoever bought the Bad Luck Brian meme for $36,000, good luck reselling that later. Maybe because you bought the very first one, you might be able to because of some kind of weird scarcity in that sense. But good luck trying to resell those in the future. However, I do believe that digital collectibles is a lasting innovation in the world of crypto. I mean, it could work with trading cards, NBA hot shots, and things like that. Even like Crypto Kitties was a thing. It was basically like the first NFT that nobody realized was an actual NFT in the day. That sort of thing, I think, will always have a lasting effect. And again, NFTs are not just art. They can be digital collectibles. They can prove ownership of a real-world object. They can prove ownership of art and all kinds of things. I mean, the limit is your imagination, but these JPEGs, not going to last forever. But we'll move on from that one. Grayscale wants to turn giant Bitcoin fund into an ETF, and why it's a big deal. Grayscale Investments manager of the world's largest publicly traded Bitcoin fund said it intends to convert the $34 billion trust into an ETF when regulators allow it to, a move that could preserve its advantage in cryptocurrency investing as other firms seek to make similar moves, which would be the biggest ETF in the world in terms of Bitcoin. The moment I think a United States ETF actually gets in is the moment that Bitcoin is really going to rocket up in price, something pretty fierce. Again, with that said, I also believe that we need sharding pretty badly in Ethereum, and we also need layer 2 solutions in Ethereum as well, because we need that transaction rate higher. We need the fees to go down, and then everybody can hop onto the DeFi platforms. And if you think the exchange volume of DeFi platforms is large now, wait till it's not $80 for you to make a single transaction, basically. So this is a subject that Grayscale has been examining closely from both a commercial and regulatory perspective for several years, the company wrote in a Monday post. Grayscale, the subsidiary of digital currency group ticker DCG, was a pioneer in digital asset management. It launched Grayscale Bitcoin Trust in 2013 and many more crypto products such as the Grayscale Ethereum Trust in the following years. The news came as Bitcoin Trust has been trading at a discount to its net asset value for more than 30 days. An unprecedented reversal of the pattern since the close-ended fund hit the market in September 2013. So very, very low discount right now because ETFs popped up in Canada and popped up in Brazil. And this is actually spells kind of trouble for the world of Bitcoin. I mean, basically, Grayscale is one of the largest holders of Bitcoin in the world. Now, they sell GBTC, but they have to hold an equivalent amount of Bitcoin, and they have a lot of it indeed, some $30+ billion worth of Bitcoin. And so this could spell trouble if the fact that this this discount on GBTC is so low, what is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin? Are they going to have to purge their Bitcoin? If that happens, I'll say goodbye to $60,000 Bitcoin, at least for a little while. But if they can turn it into an ETF, say hello to possibly 100,000 Bitcoin at least by the end of the year. U.S. regulators haven't approved any Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, so the Grayscale Trust has been one of the few options for people who want exposure to Bitcoin via the stock market. High demand and limited supply meant units of the fund were bid up to more than the value of their portion of the Bitcoin held by the trust. The recent discount on Grayscale suggests that investors have been selling their positions in the trust, likely in anticipation of the upcoming approval of Bitcoin ETFs. Those funds are expected to charge much less than Grayscale's 2% management fee, which is significantly higher than most index ETFs or commodity-backed funds. It even surpasses the cost of many actively managed funds. The company said in its Monday announcement that the management fee will be reduced if the fund converts to an ETF, but didn't disclose the new number. And the Grayscale Trust has other disadvantages as well. Compared with a Bitcoin ETF, investors who subscribe to new shares issued by the fund have to wait 6 months before they can trade the stock on the secondary market, while investors in ETFs don't face that kind of restriction. The fund's price discrepancy relative to Bitcoin, sometimes pretty large, is also undesirable for investors who want to track the digital currency's performance without the impact of other factors. Market makers can freely create and redeem shares of ETFs, so any differences between the price and the value of the underlying asset is immediately arbitraged away. In any case, Grayscale may not be the only game in town for long. Investors have been eagerly waiting for the U.S.-listed Bitcoin ETF, which would allow individuals, financial advisors, and institutional investors easy access to digital assets in the form of a security. While anyone can buy and own Bitcoins today, it remains hard for regular investors with brokerage accounts to manage cryptocurrencies as part of their portfolio. So they basically need an ETF that legally allows them to actually buy that. Whereas Grayscale, you're just buying GBTC. Whereas an ETF, it's sort of holding it for you. Now you might think to yourself, well, why don't these people just go onto an exchange and then just buy the Bitcoin? Well, you could, but institutional investors and advisors and stuff like that can't do that. So, and there's a lot of people out there in the world with a whole lot of money that don't trust themselves or don't trust Coinbase or these various exchanges. They want their financial advisor to put in millions of dollars for them, and they cannot without an ETF. They can with Grayscale, but Grayscale has not been performing particularly well lately with GBTC. So moving on here to CoinMarketCap, nearly a $2 trillion market cap. I looked at the market cap earlier, and we were off by something like $4 or $6 million or something like that, or $1 billion to the actual $2 trillion market cap. Apple, the company Apple, is a $2 trillion corporation. So the entirety of the cryptocurrency market cap is basically on par with Apple at the moment. However, Bitcoin needs to double before Bitcoin is actually the size of Apple's market cap. But an interesting day once again in the crypto world. Prices have moved up slightly. So we got that $2,130 Ethereum. So basically all-time high Ethereum currently. I think the all-time high was like maybe $15 or $20 higher. But basically, in a nutshell, the all-time high. Binance Coin still doing well. A lot of talk about Binance Smart Chain, and the NFTs on Binance Smart Chain may overtake Ethereum one day. But who knows on that one. But Binance Coin, interestingly, in third place there. But you can see XRP actually moving its way back up. It fell down, under the whole SEC FUD for a while there, but we're sitting at 86 cents. It was at an all-time high, or at least for a little while. But you can see why I call it an all-time high, because really XRP, starting maybe December 20th or so, was $1, and then it lasted about a month maybe that it was over $1, and then ever since then it has never really recovered, except for maybe May 3rd, 2018, you can see there. But for the most part, we're climbing back up in it. As the sentiment against the SEC is starting to rise against them, and the partnerships and FOMO in it. But who knows? Maybe it was just a buy the rumor, sell the news type deal that people saw that good news, that partnership news of XRP, and they decided to just buy in, and who knows, it might collapse back downwards. But either way, prices we haven't seen on XRP in quite some time. But that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video. That helps me out a lot. My social media in the description below. Also, channel memberships are active. Click the join button down below and become a member. Helps out the channel. You also get a Cool Beans badge. You look 32% cooler when you comment on the channel and you have that badge next to your name. But that's all I have for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And as usual, I'll see you guys next time.